Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. I am. I got up this morning. The weather it's a little cloudy, but it felt really nice out. So after I got my shower and brushed out my hair, I was trying to decide if I wanted to blow it dry or let it air dry. So I decided I'll just go for a nice walk and let nature dry my hair. Thus the frizz. But anyway, so it is a little frizzy. I haven't done anything to calm it down after my walk. I posted the screenshot of my Fitbit results from my walk, and I was hoping to make better time. I did the entire neighborhood. I did our cul-de-sac, and then I walked to the stop sign, and then took a right and went down, and then took a left and went around that cul-de-sac, and then went straight and went around the second cul-de-sac to come back up the hill to ours. But on my journey, I ran into this really nice gentleman. It ends up he just lives like four houses up, but he has the most beautiful dog. And so he was taking him out for his morning walk, and I ran into them. And of course, if there's a dog, I have to talk to the dog and the person, but mostly the dog. And so we walked. He was on one side of the road and I was on the other, and we walked, down, and we were talking, and he was telling me about the dog and everything. So I thought, I'm really not a talky to this guy person. So I took my left to go around the other cul-de-sac, and I thought, well, at the time I didn't know where he lived, so I thought, well, maybe he'll find his home before I make it. So I went around that cul-de-sac, and as I'm coming straight to go into the next neighborhood, he was just coming down our hill to go into that neighborhood. So I was like, okay. So he is on the upper side going with traffic. So I go to the lower side to go against traffic because it's just the one way. And we walk, side by side, and we talk, and we saw a fox, a beautiful little fox. And then he told me, that she has babies, and told me where the babies were. And I was really close to the nest, apparently, because she kept staring at me intently until we got a little closer, and she saw the dog, and she ran off. But no foxes were harmed. So he has a turnaround point, and when he got to that point, he was like, okay, well, if I turn around here and go back to my house, it's 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, well, have a great Saturday. Enjoy your walk. So I kept walking to the end of the cul-de-sac, and I turned and came up. And then I ended up having to go up that huge Nemesis hill. And he was at the top of the hill as I was starting up. And I let him get out of the picture before I took the picture of it to share how huge this hill, well, it really is huge, this hill. And so I let him and his dog get out of the way, and I thought, okay, well, they've got to live in one of these houses near for it to be a 30-minute walk. But in the meantime of all that, I'll back up to say I ran into this other couple. They had their dogs out, and I've ran into them a couple of times when I was out doing my runs a couple of weeks ago or so. I went out to do a couple of runs, and but past them and their dogs. And every time I see them, I can't help it. But I always say, oh, you've got such beautiful dogs. And they're like, thanks. And then we just keep going. So this morning they saw me, and both of them just started laughing. And I was like, yeah, you have beautiful dogs. So they laughed, and they were like, yeah, thanks. So they knew. They were anticipating me being like, oh, you've got beautiful dogs. But I just said, yeah, you got beautiful dogs. So it was pretty funny. And then continued walking with a strange dude and his dog until he turned around. And so, but we had stopped at one point to talk about the fox, and then I lost time. So I didn't get my walk in as quick as I wanted, and then it started sprinkling rain, and I was like, this is not how I wanted my walk to go, but, I was going to be nice. And the dog was super cute and fuzzy, and I told him about our boys, and he said that he had two other dogs, and they were smaller, so they couldn't go on the long walk with this guy because he was so big. And he's 15, so he's starting to slow down a little bit, and he's wanting to get him out and keep him active. And that was kind of sad to, think that, because he had to stop along the way to let the dog rest. And that was a little sad to think about. But other than that, it was a great walk. So I started this video to talk about my Pampered Chef items, but I've gone 5.5 minutes. So I'm going to stop this video and say I had a great walk. It was beautiful outside, and that was my beginning of Saturday morning. And then my next video, I will show you my Pampered Chef items that I received.